Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Lard Lizard, and in today's video, we are back on Tier Maker. We are going to be ranking World of Tanks Blitz Tier 8 Premiums. There are a bunch of Tier 8s in World of Tanks Blitz, and I know much more about the Premiums than I do the tech trees, so that's why we're only doing Premiums in this video. Let's go over our rankings. We have Overpowered at the very top, Great, Solid, Workable, and Don't Buy. Overpowered is pretty much like these tanks. Even if you're in a bad position, these tanks themselves will help you out. Like, they have very good guns, very good armor. They have something about them that's making them overpowered. Great is where they're almost overpowered. Like, it's a really, really good tank, but there's just something, like one little thing holding it back. Solid is, you know, a really dependable tank, and you can do good in it, but it's not quite as good as Great, and even further away from Overpowered. Workable is where the tank is not that good, but you could have a good game if you have the skill. And then Don't Buy is pretty self-explanatory. It's the worst of the worst. Okay, so up first we have the Glacial Tier 8 Chinese heavy tank, and we're going to put it in Workable. I think a couple years ago it probably would have fared better in the tier list, but there are just so many Tier 8 Chinese / Russian heavy tanks in the game, and a lot of them do a lot better than the Glacial. Like, up next we have the 252 Object 252U. I'm not sure if it's overpowered or great. It's great for sure, but we're gonna put it in overpowered for now. We will change this list whenever we get, you know, more tanks on the ranking, and we'll see where they end up. But the 252, 2 or 3 years ago, for sure it's overpowered. Maybe there are a couple of tanks that have came out that have kind of knocked it off a little bit. It's an extremely good tank. It has crazy armor. It's pretty quick. It turns pretty good. The whole turn rate's good, and it's probably the hardest hitting Tier 8 Chinese / Russian gun. Like, I think it does 425, which is crazy. This looks like the Chinese medium. I forget, Type 59, I think that's what it is. Don't buy this thing. There's a lot more patent variants, you know, and this is just probably one of the worst ones. And then up next we have the Jag Tiger 8.8 and the Jag Tiger 8.8 Snowstorm. I want to put these in overpowered just because of the gun alone, and it has decent armor, but I'm going to put it in Great. Both of them, they're both the same. The only difference is the camo. The only reason we're not putting it in overpowered is because it is kind of slow, and if the mediums and the light tanks can get around you, or even some of the heavies, if they can kind of get to your sides, you're in trouble. But it probably has the best gun in Tier 8. It's up there for sure. Up next we have the Action X. This is another tank that 2 or 3 years ago I think it would have been an overpowered, but I'm gonna put it in Great. I think it's close to overpowered, but I prefer tanks that have better alpha. This tank has crazy damage per minute, but it has a fast firing gun, but it doesn't have a lot of alpha. The armor's great, the spaced armor on it's good, it moves pretty good. It is a big target, so that is one downfall of it, but it's a great tank. I don't think it's overpowered anymore though. AMX CDC. Man, I want to put it in Workable, but I kind of want to put it in Don't Buy because there's so many better tanks. We're going to put it in Don't Buy. No, I changed my mind. Workable. This thing is extremely fast, has absolutely no armor. If you use this tank, everybody's going to be shooting HE at you, and if you don't know how to use it, you are going to get demolished. But decent gun, pretty accurate gun. Kind of a big target for how fast it moves and everything. Is that the AMX 49? That's the Tier 8 French. I'm gonna put it in Workable. I played it, and it's kind of like the AMX MLE at Tier 10. It has some frontal armor. It has a decent gun, but that's it. Like, it has no side armor. It is pretty quick for how big and heavy it is, but it's got a decent gun and it's got a front plate, and that's about it. So it's close to being in solid, but I think we're going to leave it in workable because there are much better tier 8 heavies. This is the 112-2. I really want to put this in great, but apologize about that. I just stopped my recording. I do believe we were on the 112-2. This is it's in between great and solid. It's a fast heavy tank, and the front plate is actually very sharp. Like, it has very, I don't want to say flat, but it's a weird plate. Usually they have the pike nose, the Russians do, they have the pike nose, but this one's flat and it's actually very well armored. We're gonna go ahead and put it in solid. Fast tank, hits for 400. You can do a lot of damage in this tank, and I do think the front plate throws people off. Decent speed. Up next, we have the Chieftain. Don't buy the Chieftain. It's just the worst version of the Action X. I don't like it at all. And it's got a hatch on top that can get pinned anywhere. The armor's not crazy. It has decent gun depression. It's kind of quick, but it doesn't really do anything great, and it almost doesn't do anything good. I mean, there's a couple, you have to be really good to make this thing work. Chimera is overpowered. This thing came out a long time ago, and it is still overpowered. It's a medium. I think it hits for 440, I do believe. That's crazy. It hits like a fucking truck. It's fast. Hold down, the armor is decent. It doesn't have the best armor, but you can get it hold down, and you can make it hard for people to pin you. It's a really good tank. Like, just the speed and the alpha, like, you can do a lot of damage in this thing, and it's always a good tank. Like, always a good tank to pick. Up next, we have the Defender Mark 1. Oh man, is this thing overpowered or is this thing great? Okay, let's go over it. 4-shot auto loader. Don't really know the alpha. It's about getting the clip out. It's probably 160, 190, but it's an extremely good tank. Really fast, deadly hold down. If you get around some heavies and you're hold down on this thing, they can't do nothing to you. Anybody can't do nothing to you unless it's some kind of tank destroyer with an extremely good pin. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in great, even though I wouldn't argue if anybody put it in overpowered. Okay, up next we have the E75TS. Solid or workable? It is a German heavy, has side skirts on it. Really, really slow, but it turns, the whole traversal rate is actually pretty good. Pretty good damage per minute. Fairly accurate, pretty accurate for being a big heavy tank. Man, I feel like we're gonna go ahead and put it in workable, but I feel like it's above the rest of these. I do think that is the Emil 1951. We're gonna go ahead and put this in great, probably right there. 3-shot auto loader. It's faster. If I'm not mistaken, it has less armor than the Tech Tree Emil, but it's a little faster, and the gun's a tad bit different. But I mean, it's a really good tank. It's just solid. And then up next, we have probably one of the worst tanks in the game, FCM 50T. I think that's what it is. Don't buy that. It's horrible. I mean, even if it's given to you, you know, I wouldn't use it. It's a huge target. Doesn't hit very hard. Not very. I mean, it's kind of accurate, but it's just not a very good tank. IS-6. I hate to say it, but it's a little outdated. I would rather have the IS-6 instead of the Glacial, though, just in my opinion. And then we have the, I think that's the, I'm not sure if they call that the Black Dog or the Black Bulldog, but that thing is, we're gonna put it in solid. For a light tank, a lot of damage per minute, and it has crazy good HE potential. It is a German light tank, but it's an American tank, but it's got a German gun on it, so that's why it is a German light tank. Up next, we have the T-34, and we're gonna go ahead and put it in, See, this is weird because the T-34 feels a lot like a tank destroyer in some circumstances. So it's kind of a, you know, you can play it as a hold down heavy, or you can kind of be second line and use it, you know, for its alpha, and it has great penetration. We're gonna go ahead and put it in workable. I notice a lot of these tanks are going into workable, but we will switch some of the higher ones up to solid. IS-2 SH, I like it, but don't buy it, especially if you're a newer player. And then we have the IS-3 Defender. We're gonna put the IS-3 Defender in solid, and I'd probably put it over these two. It is an auto loader, but it doesn't quite feel like an auto loader. It's one of those tricky auto loaders with a long shell reload, and pretty quick. Yeah, since they updated the graphics, and it made the front plate way better. So yeah, it's definitely solid. Almost pushing great, honestly. IS-5, we're gonna go ahead and throw in workable. A lot of these tanks we're gonna be putting in workable, especially the tier 8. Like I said, the tier 8 Russian / Chinese. So I guess that IS-6 earlier was the IS-6 Fearless. We're gonna go ahead and put the IS-6 with it over here. And that looks like the ISU-130. Man, the ISU-130 is a weird tank. It's like the ISU-152, but it has 130 millimeter. It has two different standard shells. So your first shell is standard, and then your second shell does less penetration, but it has more alpha. So you could have a damn good game in it if you know how to use your ammo and you know how to conceal yourself. So we're gonna put it in workable. Probably put it up here with these guys. KV-5. Oh man, the KV-5. KV-5 is a heavy tank. I think it's like 110 tons or something. That's insane. We're gonna put the KV-5 in great. The armor is so troll. Like, again, I'm basing these off of like how I play with like these tanks, like how good I am in these tanks and how good the tanks, you know, help me out when I'm not doing so good, or like when I fight these tanks, like how hard is this tank to fight? You know, how hard is it to kill? How hard is it to get around? You know, all that. And the KV-5 has really troll armor. A lot of the shots that you hit, and you're like, why didn't that pin? And I know it has the two tits like right on the front that you can hit, but I mean, they're still kind of troll. And if somebody knows how to use it, I mean, you're gonna have trouble with it. And it has a good amount of hit points, and the gun it doesn't have the greatest alpha, but it's a solid shot. Pretty accurate for a Russian gun, and it's constantly shooting. I'm not sure if that is the Lorraine. I think that is the Lorraine. The Lorraine is a high risk, high reward tank in my opinion. Has absolutely no armor. It's a huge target, but the gun is great. The gun is great. I kind of want to put it in don't buy, because I think a lot of people, like just starting out, they would do horrible in the Lorraine. But if I was to put it into don't buy, I put it all the way at the top of don't buy. The low, extremely heavy German tank. Probably the most accurate heavy gun in tier 8. And it's good for grinding credits if that's still a thing. So we're gonna put it over those. Yep, I put it up here. Extremely accurate tank. If you're having trouble like aiming, and you know, and you're using some of the Russian tier 8s that don't aim as well, if you need to get your accuracy a little better, I would probably use the low, and it's going to help you get some credits. It can kind of teach you how to side scrape and how to, you know, do all that stuff if you know how to do it. It's not a bad tank. It's a sure shot, great penetration, 310 alpha. I remember when I first started out, it was a really sturdy, solid tank. Just not for our list right now. The Revolurise, man, this thing, it's either workable or solid. I'll be honest, when I use this tank, I do horrible. I am not a big fan of Shermans in this game. Shermans in real life, really cool. I understand the history about it. But Shermans in World of Tanks Blitz, I just get obliterated. There's only one Sherman I can use, and it's a tier 5 collectible Sherman. Totally forgot what it's called. But the Revelarice, it's a French Sherman with a giant French gun on it. And I think a lot of people can do really good in it. But I don't think it's good enough to put in solid. You know what? I do think it's good enough to put in solid. I've seen a lot of people do really good in it. It has a really good gun. Totally forgot what this is called. Like the M6 Experimental, I do think. I think it has the same exact gun as the T-34, and it's just a bit different. It has a much tougher front plate, but it's a much bigger target, so it's about in the same boat as the T-34 in my opinion. I don't remember the name. 047, I think that's what it's called. This thing is horrible. Don't buy that thing. I do believe that is the Panther 8.8. Horrible, horrible, horrible tank. It has literally the worst win rate out of any tank in tier 8. It has a very good gun. Like, the gun is extremely sharp. I mean, you could hit anything across the fucking map with the Panther 8.8. But it has no armor. It gets ammo racked quite easily. But the ammo racks are literally right under the turret, and they're on the sides, and the sides are completely flat. So a 152 is gonna ammo rack this thing easy. I do believe that is the 58 Panzer 58 Moots. I think that's what it's called. Actually, a really good tank. I think if I've played it recently, I might put it in solid, but I'm gonna put it in workable because they did buff it quite a bit, but I haven't played it since they buffed it. But the stats look really good on it, and I probably need to play it a little more. It was the first tank that I ever mastered, which is crazy. It was a long time ago. Progetto, this thing is going into overpowered. If you know how to use this tank, this thing, it has an auto reloader, which is probably the best system for autoloaders in the game, easily. It's so, like, you can do so much with this tank, and you're not held back by the autoloader. Like, you're not sitting there for 17 seconds. You know, I mean, even if you empty all 3 of your shots, it's just gonna take 6-7 seconds, and you have another shot. Like, you're never, you know, you're never in trouble of, like, somebody just rushing you and you're getting hit the whole 17 seconds. And it's extremely fast, has no armor, so watch out for that. I mean, it's not gonna get penetrated by HE shells by the majority of weapons. You know, 152 is gonna penetrate it with HE probably. But it's the gun on it, the speed on it, it's extremely good. Very, very close to the Defender. And then this one, the Centurion Mark 1. Oh man, if the Centurion Mark 1 is in a good player's hands, this thing is annoying. They will sit there, hold down, you can't do nothing about it, and they will pick your ass apart. I think it does 190. It has the same gun as the Action X. And I think if it's in a very good player's hands, it's probably overpowered, but I'm gonna put it in great because some people don't quite know how to use it, you know, and it's not the fastest medium, but I mean, that front plate and the fucking turret on it, and the gun has extremely good penetration. Like, it's a great tank. Scorpion G, oh man, I think the Scorpion was better a long time ago, a couple years ago. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in solid. It has a really good gun, hell of a gun on it, and I do my best in it when I use it like a medium that has absolutely no armor, because that's kind of what it is. It's a Panther with a giant fucking gun on it, and it has absolutely no armor. Hell of a gun though, pretty quick, turns kind of slow. It's a big target though. It really is much bigger, you know, than you would expect, and it doesn't have the best camouflage. And when you have absolutely no armor and everybody's gonna HE you, you might want a little bit of camouflage. STG, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in solid. This thing, I'm not sure what people think about it, but every time I use this tank, like, it's fast. It does 400 a shot, 400 alpha. Reload's not horrible, but the aim time is like 1 second, which is the fastest aim time that I've seen. This thing hits hard, and it hits right where you aim because it has an extremely good aim time. It's fast enough. It has a little bit of troll armor. You know, it'll get you out of some bad situations, or maybe if you're trying to get away, you know, it might get you a little lucky because everything's circular. But it's solid, man. It's better than workable in my opinion. SU-130. This is just the better Scorpion in my opinion. Similar guns, the Scorpion has a little bit better damage per minute, but the SU has way better concealment. It doesn't have the full rotation of the turret, which the Scorpion does have, but it has a front plate that, you know, I don't think you can HE it, and you could get a couple of lucky bounces, and it's just as fast as the Scorpion. It's just a better Scorpion. Super Pershing. Do not buy the Super Pershing. T2020. I'm going to go ahead and put it in workable, even though a lot of people would put it in don't buy. It's really in the category of the, what do we already got up there? The two IS-6s, yeah, just like it. The Glacial, just like it, and the IS-5, just like it, even though I'd probably put the IS-5 a little higher. IS-5 has a little bit of an accurate gun, especially compared to these Chinese heavies and Russian heavies. I do believe that is the T25 Pilot 1. This thing is underrated. I'm going to put it in workable. It's kind of a hybrid between a light and a medium. Like, it has a little bit of turret armor, and it has a pretty dependable gun, but it's a fast little medium that can skirt around, and I mean, you can get around the edges of people and really pick them apart, but it doesn't get any love at all. I've never heard anybody say the T25 Pilot 1's my favorite tank. And then we got the Sheriff, the Pershing. Man, this thing, I like this tank a lot. I know it's not the best tank ever, and the Action X is just a better version of it, but I like this Pershing a lot. We're going to put it in workable. It's up there with the T-34. I think it's kind of a yin and yang. Like, the T-34 is the big gun, and the I think it's the T-25E6. Yeah, it's the smaller gun, but it probably moves a little faster, has good turret armor. Dependable tank, like, it's pretty good. And then we have the T-28 Defender. We are going to put the T-28 Defender. It's right in between great and solid. Like, it's extremely slow. It is, but it has one hell of a gun. I think we're going to put it at the top of solid. Again, like, this is all in my opinion. Like, I use the tank, it has a killer gun, but it's slow. Everything is flat on it. I mean, even though it has flat armor, it's still really good armor. It's just, it's all gun, man. Like, if they put this gun on the IS-3 Defender, that tank would be insane. And then we have the, oh man, I forgot what that tank is called. Yeah, but I do know it is a Chinese medium that is just like the STG. For some reason, I feel like the STG is a little better than this one. But it's literally got the same gun. 400 alpha, 1 second aim time. Decent armor, but I'm going to put it in workable. Man, it sucks I don't remember the name of it. But the T-34, this is the same thing as the T-34 that we ranked earlier. T-44-100, I've only used this like 5 times. I got obliterated, and it was not very good. You can't get the gun down. The gun didn't have the best penetration. Like, it has side skirts. I mean, that's really the only thing going for it. It's not good. Like, don't buy it. Out of all the tanks to don't buy the FCM. Don't buy the T-44. I mean, you'd be better off getting something like a Chieftain or an IS-2SH, or even that Chinese patent. we have the Shark T54E2. Oh man, is this thing overpowered or is this thing workable? I'm gonna go ahead and put this in great, and it's at the top. Again, whenever we get done with our list, we'll switch some stuff here or there. I think it's just a better Action X, honestly. Like, I like the 310 Alpha. Like, it's great hold down. It moves good. It's, man, the more I talk about it, I feel like it's overpowered. We might put it in overpowered. Like, let's see what we got. T54 Mod 1. Again, like, it just has nothing. Like, it has good armor. It's got like heavy tank armor, or what used to be heavy tank armor, and a decent gun. I put it at the top of don't buy, and it sucks to see a legend like this like get power crept, but it is what it is. And then this is the American patent. Totally forgot the name of it, but I don't like it. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in don't buy. It probably should go on workable, but I'm gonna put it in don't buy. Oh man. Damn, I forgot the name of this tank too. I just said it earlier. We're gonna come back to this. The VK168, we're gonna put in workable. It's just a big ass tank with a big ass gun. And if you know how to play your role, this thing is, I mean, it's workable for sure. Like, you're a big target. You're there to soak up the attention of the enemy and make them, you know, come out and suffer. Like, make them make mistakes, make them pay. You know, that's what that thing is for. You're not going to be in the back of the map. And if you are on the back of the map, pick a different damn tank. But I like it a lot. I always do good in it. And we're almost done with this list. Wow. Dude, I swear I'm about to go look up the name of that fucking tank. But the WZ-120 GFT, we're going to put it in great. Ooh, should we put it in solid or great? We're going to go ahead and we're going to put it in great. Like, it's a great tank. It's got a great gun. Really fast. Really fast. And the gun is good. Good penetration, good alpha. I mean, in a really good player's hands, it can just destroy a team. Like, it's versatile too. I mean, you can either play like a heavy, like a second line heavy, or you can sit in the back like a tank destroyer, or you can kind of be up there close with the heavies and kind of, you know, going up and down trying to make people miss. It's a really. Okay, I stopped the video and it's the Chrysler K. I fucking knew it. I was talking about this tank earlier. The thing about the Chrysler K is, like, I hear a lot of people like talk it up, and it's a pretty good tank. Every time I fight it, it's a hell of a fight, but I just do not do very good in this tank. I'm gonna put it in solid, like at the bottom of solid, only because every time I fight it, it's a headache. Especially like they're moving fast, got a pretty good gun on it. I don't know, man. I just don't do very good in it. And then we have the Type 59. I think that's what it is. I think we're going to go ahead and put it in don't buy. It's close to workable. And also this tank right here is the T-34-3. I do like that tank. And then we have the WZ-111, I do believe. And that is just kind of a worse version of the Glacial. So we're gonna put it, I'm gonna put it in workable. But let's go to the top of our list. Overpowered, we have the 252, the Chimera, and the Progetto. Overpowered, we're gonna put the Shark in overpowered. And we're also gonna put the Defender Mark 1 in overpowered. Man, the fucking Jag Tiger is close to being overpowered. Like, that gun is so good. And it has some armor. Oh, I mean, even, like, all these tanks in great, they're so close to being overpowered. Except the KV-5 and the Action X. And the WZ. But the Centurion, like, really good, you know, but it doesn't have the speed to get you away when you're in a bad situation. The Jag Tiger. I'm putting it in overpowered. We'll put the Snowstorm in overpowered. No, we'll put them both. Okay. Great. We got the Mark 1, Emil 1951 Action X, KV5, SU-130, and the WZ. And then in solid, we are going to go ahead and put the T-28 Defender in great. Very good gun. Like, if you're using it as a tank destroyer, you should be fine. And even if they, shoot at you and you're all the way in the back of the map, you have very good armor anyways. But I don't think I would put anything else in great. And then if we're going down solid, IS-3 Defender is really good. 112-2 is pretty good. I think the Chrysler K is the only one that's like on the fence, and I don't even like it that much. I just gotta respect it. Okay, workable. We have the E75 TS. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in solid. It's really slow, but it has a very good gun, good damage per minute. I'm just now noticing that we're missing quite a bit of tanks, especially a lot of new tanks. So I might do this list again, maybe one day. But T-34 isn't workable. Low. We're gonna put the Panzer Moots in solid because it got a huge buff, and not that I've played it, but I've seen that it's much more of a hassle to fight. It has much better damage per minute. Okay. 168's workable. The low is workable. Almost solid. IS-6, it's workable. Then again, like these rankings, like overpowered, great, solid, workable. Like these are not like defining these tanks. Like any tank on this damn list could have a very, very good game, except for the Panther 8.8. I'm just kidding. I think I'm okay with this list though. So let's go over it. Overpowered, Object 252U. I wonder if, okay. I would move that. Yeah, something like that. I'm fine with that. Chimera, Progetto, Shark, Defender Mark 1, the 2 Jag Tiger 8.8s, and then the Object 252U. Object 252U is still a great tank. I mean, it's simple but effective. And great, we have the Centurion Mark 1, Emil 1951 Action X, KV5, SU-130 PM, WZ-120 GFT, and the T-28 Defender. In solid, we have the IS-8 Defender. Yeah, I think it's the 8. And then we have the WZ-112 or something. And then we have the Black Dog, the Bulldog that's German, the Revelarice, the Scorpion, the STG, the Chrysler K, E75 TS, and the Panzer 58 Moots. In workable, we have both of the T-34s. We have the T-25 E6, the M6 Experimental, the low, 168, the 2 IS-6, the SU-130, IS-5, Glacial, the AMX CDC, the AMX 54, I don't remember the exact number, T-2020, T-25 Pilot 1, the T-34-3, and the, I think it's the WZ-111. And then don't buy is pretty much all the patents, the two patents, the American and the Chinese, which is this one. This one's the American. T-44, or that's the T-54 Mod 1, the Lorraine, the Chieftain, the FCM-50T, the IS-2 SH, I think, Panther 8.8, 057, Super Pershing, Type 59, and the T-44 100. Honestly, I'm not mad at this list, and I think if I played all these tanks again, they might change, but in my opinion, this is an extremely solid list. And if you're brand new to this game, I would try to stay away from the don't buy and some of the workable. Like, use the solid tanks, use the great tanks, and just learn how to play the game. I might do a lot more of World of Tanks Blitz content. Let me know what you guys think, and I'm